Ezra Levant here for Rebel News. As you can see, I'm in beautiful Edgewood, British Columbia, where until a couple days ago, there were hundreds of ostriches behind these fences. Those ostriches have now been massacred in a nighttime shooting spree, nearly 1,000 bullets shot. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency brought in marksmen, they won't say from where, to do the dirty deed, under the watchful eye and support of nearly 100 police. Here's the RCMP right here. You can see there's quite a few of them. They're down the road. There's a police checkpoint even coming in. I don't think the police have retreated, other than the spokesman, the media spokesman, have fled the zone. They're back in Surrey. They refuse to do interviews, including over the phone, which is quite telling that after the largest CFIA raid, after the largest police operation in British Columbia in 2025, the police refuse to discuss anything. It's sort of hilarious. I don't know if you can see, that is a police tent that's a recruitment tent, which is, I think, a kind of taunt. I understand from a variety of video clips and people telling me that over the last few days, right here where the yellow police tape is, the police have shifted gears. They've stopped trying to calm things down and make things peaceful, and they've started a new tactic of aggravating, annoying, pestering, and even insulting people. And it makes no sense other than the police are trying to orchestrate some breach of the peace, some excuse that they can arrest one of the peaceful protesters here, so they can change the atrocious media narrative of bullying police, watching by as the Canadian Food Inspection Agency massacred the birds. It's really quite astonishing. It reminds me a little bit of during the trucker convoy, when the police clearly had instructions from Justin Trudeau to somehow justify the Emergencies Act, to change the narrative. This ostrich massacre story is truly international. I was in Nashville, Tennessee a few weeks ago. People down there were saying, what's up with those ostriches? It's crazy because it's a story about authoritarian police, secretive and vague health officials applying rules without common sense, the killing of hundreds of birds. And these birds, by the way, are decades old. Some of them are 30 years old. The farmers know them personally. They've named them. Imagine coming in and killing every single bird in a flock because they were sick a year ago. Even though they're healthy and now they're immune, this slavish adherence to nonsensical rules, it's an unscientific massacre. Even U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wrote to the Canadian government saying, please don't kill the birds. The fact that they've recovered from the avian flu and now have herd immunity makes them valuable from a medical research point of view. Please don't kill them. In fact, we'll pay for the research. The Canadian government went ahead with the massacre. It's a bizarre story. So many things are wrong with it, including the spy drones that the police deployed overhead. Anyone who came close to this police tape, their faces were spied at and put into some facial recognition database. It's a deeply troubling thing. I mentioned the trucker convoy. There's certainly lots of echoes of that. A lot more questions will be asked in the days and weeks ahead, and I promise you Rebel News will be there to cover it. While I was on the scene today, I did a lot of journalism, including talking with the family for nearly an hour about what had happened and what they'll do next. I hope you'll tune in. We'll have that video at savetheostriches.com. I also interviewed Chris Dacey, another citizen journalist who's done some outstanding work on the ground here. And then I wrapped up with Drea Humphrey and Sydney Fazard, two of our Rebel journalists who have been here for weeks. And in the case of Drea, she's been back and forth here for months and was staying in an RV that we crowdfunded, courtesy of you, our viewers. Thank you so much for making our reportage here possible. In the end, we weren't able to stop the massacre. The Supreme Court refused the legal application by the family to stay the execution. That was not legally successful, but I think the questions are just beginning. And in fact, I put 17 of those questions to the police in these cars. They rolled up their windows as I started asking them, so I used my outdoors voice to holler the questions at them. There were no answers forthcoming. It wasn't funny when the police have such a major operation that violates so many norms, including criminal norms of animal cruelty, for them simply to refuse to answer questions, to have their spokesman leave the zone and go back to Surrey and refuse to even do phone interviews, that's deeply troubling too. There were a lot of things that went wrong out here, and it's essential that journalists hold them to account. You won't see any journalists from CTV or CBC holding them to account. I had an interview with the farmer who told us about her media experiences and that she simply cannot trust the regime media, and it was citizen journalists that she turned to in the end, and I'll play those videos for you. You'll be able to find them shortly at SaveTheOstriches.com. I promise Rebel will continue to report this story in the weeks and months ahead. And the first part of that story is, why are the police still here? Like, literally, why are they still here? They've already killed all the birds. The carcasses have been removed. Why are they here other than to provoke and do what psychologists called DARVO? Deny, accuse, reverse victim, and offender. These police have no purpose here other than to antagonize the hundreds of citizens who have been here for months in solidarity with the farm. I promise you we'll keep reporting this. If you want to chip in to help our coverage, feel free to go to SaveTheOstriches.com. Unlike the CBC, we don't get $1.5 billion a year, but unlike the CBC, we don't lie as we breathe.